So welcome back to Bergen, Pietari Inkinen.
Tack så mycket, thank you. Nice to be back.
Nice to have you here. Looking back, you were here in 2010, conducting, not surprisingly maybe, since you come from Finland, Sibelius' Fifth Symphony, and also you had Leif Ove Ansnes, soloist in the Brahms Second Piano Concerto.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, you suddenly had to jump in and conduct the orchestra for 2 concerts at the festival at the Canary Islands. How is it to just jump in and take over a program that you don't have any influence on?
Well, yes, I have fond memories of the first encounter with the orchestra and your star pianist Leif Ove, with whom I've played also a few times elsewhere. Yes, it was very, very positive memories, and then suddenly came this phone call to very, very short notice to come back to the orchestra and go on a tour. Was a very very easy decision to say yes. And you ask about the program. This is of course the bread and butter of the orchestra. Grieg's
Grieg concerto,
concerto, and Bergen Suite was in the program, and the second half Sibelius' Second Symphony, which is one of my party pieces, and the orchestra knows it extremely well as well. So even with a very, very limited rehearsal time, I was very confident that since we know each other with the orchestra and both are very familiar with the repertoire, that it will work well, and it worked extremely well. So it was a very, very happy reunion, and we understood musically each other right away. And the orchestra was very responsive from the first minute, and I knew right there that this is gonna be exciting concerts, which they were, and I'm glad to be now soon after back with the orchestra again here in Bergen.
So are we. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Coming from Finland, I guess you studied conducting in Helsinki. Yeah.
Yes, I was one of Jorma Panula's first guinea pigs, like a kids class student. So when he was still professor at the Sibelius Academy, he wrote a little note on the advertisement board for the youth department students, where I was studying violin in my teens, and there was a little handwritten note. So any of the kids wanna get into conducting, show up with the Haydn Symphony, I don't remember which number anymore, but with the score to the Sibelius Academy concert hall on this and this Saturday morning. And I thought, well, that's an interesting chance, and I went, and he chose 3 of us as a kind of a young student, from the youth department, and was one guy 12, and I was 14, and Mikko Frank was 15, and that's the gang we started with. And this youth program is still going on, and I was still very keen with my violin, and continued my studies in Cologne with Zakhar Bron, and played quite a few concerts and competitions, got some prizes with the fiddle, and then decided quite soon that now I would like to pursue the conducting as well more seriously. And there was no guarantees, of course, that one even gets into the proper class. Sometimes they used to take no one, and especially those days, quite often they took only 1 per year. So it was difficult to get into the main.
How old was you then?
That was the time when I was 20. Came the kind of decision, now I would like to apply and let's see what happens. And then also spoke with Bron, that he said, okay, we do a few more competitions. I said, no, I want to go take the entrance exam. If I'm successful, I must go. If not, then we continue 1 more, 2 more years of his particular path, to the soloist path with the violin, which in that class it was super fascinating, so much talent there, but there was no other way. It's either there's only one goal.
Okay, yeah.
And
you had to choose.
I got a lot from that, to being part of that system also for a couple years. But then I was lucky to to get into the class. Leif Segerstam was then professor. Panula had retired already quite some years back. And I got in, and then I told Bron, now I have to move back to Helsinki, and started the studies in the proper conducting class, and which was amazing training, amazing chance every week with the orchestra and with Leif, all his experience of in the beginning Panula, and then Segerstam afterwards, and then I was one full year there in the class on a weekly basis, even though playing quite a bit of concerts, especially with the violin in between, and already some conducting gigs as well. But the real breakthrough then the second season, in the second year in the class, came, that a very, very unusual, complicated program. Leif was chief conductor of the Helsinki Philharmonic at the time. The Helsinki Philharmonic also I played as a soloist several times, so I knew the orchestra myself. They accompanied me in the finals of the Sibelius violin competition as well, and so forth. So then, but Leif then, he decided that is your chance now. With the Walton First Symphony, the orchestra never played, Malcolm Arnold Overture, and Elgar Cello Concerto. So the first asked me to jump in to rehearse the first day because the conductor was sick and couldn't come in, and so forth. The second day, could you look at the overture as well? And then ultimately I did the concert. And that's how then the international thing started to come in, because I learned very last minute just to help the orchestra out. After the first day, they already asked me to come back for a couple months later, for own concert to program it from the beginning together and so forth. So thank you very much. It was good luck for the next day, but it turned into then a full week, and then the rest of the, it's a story chance, like it was yes, of course, always a risky thing too, but it worked in a very, very kind of collegial, symbiotic spirit from the first moment onwards, and it turned out well, that risk. And
but Leif Segerstam, of course, so he was a very supportive teacher, I guess. You know, he's been conducting here a lot.
Yes.
He even wrote a few symphonies for the Bergen Philharmonic. He's not longer with us, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, no.
So he was important for you.
Absolutely. So that's part of the Finnish method, that it's a tradition now to give the next generation chances, and that is not always the case in every country. That really much, some countries needs the approval from somewhere else, and the price is there, and then you can come home. But the Finland has always given the chances, and that's another point why the method, it's the school, the training orchestra should be of a certain quality, that the orchestra can play the notes but don't have experience with, can't really save the conductor. So the simulator part of it, that is critical of what level that actually is. But that has been also copied, but why then it is so successful, particularly in Finland? Herbert Blomstedt said an interesting point about this. What is also a contributing factor, that we have so many of the small orchestras around the country with a small budget.
Exactly.
That is also critical, because in the class you can't practice that. How do you organize the week and the rehearsals and the time, this X number of hours you have? Because what is then the next round? And Finland has all these locations and they need someone new. And
so then they call
then often they have there is this and there is that guy, and then you can in this next level to take the next steps.
That's a very practical solution.
Yes.
But a solution that works.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Because there's so many.
Yes. Yes.
Famous and excellent Finnish conductors.
That is also to me well spotted, well pointed out by Blomstedt. Why that we actually on paper have the same number of professional ensembles as France, with quite a different population, and obviously not massive budgets in the small villages. But that's also a critical step.
It's interesting to know. But of course, we have to stay a little bit more in Finland. Sibelius, you have recorded all his symphonies. We like to think here in Bergen that we are the expert of playing Grieg. Is it the same with you? You know, you have to be a Finnish conductor or a Finnish orchestra to do justice to Sibelius.
Maybe that's one little bit too far, but of course we are very proud of it. And like here too, it's clearly in the DNA. And the first moment we started Grieg with this orchestra, I can sense the same natural connection and this certain pride about it.
Yeah, pride. I think it's also important.
And that was the same, you know, also with my old Prague orchestra when we went on tour and played the Dvořáks and Smetanas. It's the same kind of posture when this their DNA starts to sound. You are just drawn into that. But also that there is still no right or wrong way. All the Finns still do these symphonies very differently. There are day and night differences. However, they can still always say that that's how that's how we do it.
That's how we
but
do
it still can be very day and night different.
But coming back to tonight's program, no Sibelius there, but what was your ideas behind this particular program, starting with Unsuk Chin?
Yes.
You have a history from South Korea, I know.
Yes, so I have been chief there in Seoul as well, and that's why with also very natural way how with Bergen Philharmonic this collaboration while on stage and off stage has been. And so with Oddmund we brainstormed several things. It's always, you know, combination of many factors why one lands with a program. And now this week we have this university concert, so already on Wednesday, which needed something preferably popular, and that's why we had also several options and thought that okay, and then we always of course look in the past what was recently done, what not, and what might work, what is not to repeat too soon, and so forth. But then the Tchaikovsky Fourth was one option, and then okay, that's one of these symphonies as well. Tchaikovsky very close to my heart, and this piece particularly also conducted from New Zealand to Los Angeles, from Pittsburgh to Tokyo, and so forth. And I always enjoy it, and with this orchestra doing it now for the first time together, and will be for such a particular public definitely a very exciting choice.
Perfect choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so what then? So with Kane Mason's family, with Cheku, I've played quite a few concerts, and now first time with one of his sisters. Then that came into the option that she could be available, and orchestra. She has been in town already before, and then orchestra was very keen on this idea. And then okay, Tchaikovsky, maybe an exciting Prokofiev concerto would be, and that's how we then landed with the third, which is always a blast.
Yeah.
And
basically, it's Prokofiev's more or less only piano concerto that is performed, isn't it? Or it's the most popular one.
It's probably yes. Yeah. And then maybe the second comes after that. Yeah. But it is the most played one out of the five, sure. I do program them all. I enjoy the differences in all of them, but of course that is always a guarantee the curtain. Not a curtain raiser, but guarantee the firework result with this piece. Yeah. And great. I think it's now then with the orchestra her debut.
It is.
Yes. So and it's again also for her it's a great debut piece.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking, of course, what to start with. Certain too long, too atmospheric is maybe a little bit tricky. It should be something exciting and compact, and then also with this my very long presence in Asia in general. So I've been chief conductor in both capitals, in Tokyo and in Seoul. And then this Unsuk Chin's name popped up, and she's of course very established, very much played, and not easy, but very well constructed works. And yes, it's a really in a very short time, 5 minutes, the Subito con Forza, and homage Ludwig van Beethoven for his 250th anniversary written thing. So starts like the Coriolan Overture, but already in the bar 3 something very different starts to happen. There comes these glimpses of Beethoven, but it's her masterful treatment of the forces that she chose to use, with also very difficult piano part, which our colleague plays brilliantly, but also for the rest of the orchestra. It's such a virtuoso display of possibilities, and pushing it really on the limit. And also what she asks for and tempo markings, it's like really almost unplayable. And when we push it really to the limit, and oh boy, they can really do it. It is super exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.